Let's see here. Oh, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. That is Psalms first chapter, first verse. I was going for the scripture. I was looking for the scriptures that talk about sinners. And I was thinking about this film that came out called Sinners. And I said, I'd like to review it. I'd like to talk about it. It's just so much to unpack. And I figured, let's do that. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. Oh my goodness. We're so excited that you guys are enjoying and being here with us. I am your host, Val the Voice Johnson, and excited that you're able to join me on today. Now, I have to tell you, it is, I don't know, it's something special about, it's exactly 1 week after my birthday. I'm excited that, I get a chance to do my thing. But the other fun thing about it all is I get a chance to celebrate good filmmaking, which is always a good thing when you're able to do that. And for myself, I have been going through a lot this past month, but I'm grateful to be on the other side of which is now going on 1 month since my surgery. So I'm excited that you guys are joining us here on another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. I feel the love, and I really felt the love when I received these flowers, these birthday flowers, from a group on Clubhouse called the Lemonade Stand. This is so cool. I'm so grateful that I get a chance to tell you guys thank you for such a beautiful bouquet of birthday flowers. But I also think of them as like getting well flowers. We're thankful that you are feeling better, all of that stuff. And for some reason, I'm having some issues with LinkedIn. So I'm trying to reconnect LinkedIn as quickly as possible, but I see LinkedIn's doing its thing. But anyway, we're going to get started for another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. And we're going to get started right about, now. Hey everyone, it's another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. And I hope you guys can hear me because it looks like I'm also having some audio issues, but I think you guys can hear me. But of course, I'm here and doing a little, I want to call it a little situation call. We're going to let you guys know what we got going on for today. But of course, I want to let you all know what I've been working on. The print is coming. I am so excited about it all. It's now available on purelightHousemedia.com and of course our shop area, which is always good. But of course you can visit our store for the ebook and merchandise, but the hardback copy is being worked on as we speak. I want to thank my writing mentor. That would be that would be Monique Lisa Johnson. Thank you so very much for all of your wonderful help for this. I thank you so very much for all of your help, and definitely just excited about it all. And of course, we've got patreon.com. Of course, this is our behind the scenes. It is article writing. It is a lot of things. And of course, with patreon.com, you guys can come on and enjoy what we talk about, what we do, which is always fun. And of course, it's called Interludes Extra Presents Find Your Voice. And of course, we're doing that. And of course, like I said, you could go to patreon.com/interludes. And then, of course, that's some of the things that we've been doing there on Interludes, on Patreon, which is really, really fun. So, of course, we're so excited that you're there and you are checking this thing out. Oh, my goodness. Thank you guys so very much for that. And I have a brand new audio that's coming out, which is really, really fun. And, of course, you guys can go ahead and check it on out. Oh, my goodness. And then, of course, we have our affiliate sponsor. We have a new one coming on, but our affiliate sponsor is KeySpot. Of course, connect, share, and grow your business. If you have a small business, grow your business with KeySpot. They are all over the country. And of course, you can go ahead and get your small business notice on their thing. And it's $15 a month. And so if you decide to sign up, because we told you about it, it's the affiliate sponsor way, which is always fun, fun, fun. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for being here. And of course, the Pull Up Podcast Show, we're happy. Coach finally got an IG page. I'm so happy. You guys scan the QR code. You go to @Pull Up Podcast Show, and that is his handle. And so we got him on to do his Instagram. So we're really, really excited about it all. Let me know you're in the building and you guys can check us out. And of course, thank you so much for the love, Mr. Springer. Oh my goodness. So good that you're able to join us and do what we do. Oh, I have now figured out why I can't hear myself. My speaker went out. Look at that. It is all good. It is all good. Oh, my goodness. Well, a couple of things we're going to talk about. We want to thank Mr. Springer for definitely bringing on, I want to call it, he gave us some great articles for us to talk about here before we get into our review. Every year around this time, it's called crunch time. It's what shows, what dramas, what things are doing well on television, and then what sitcoms, what shows aren't doing so well. And to now know that a season is no longer what it used to be, 22 to 24 episodes, and that would be for comedies and dramas, to what is streaming. A season can be anywhere from 8 to 13 episodes, and that's it. That's a season. So a lot of shrinkage has happened, but it's because I think it's due to people binge watching, and that's the fun thing. If you're able to binge watch, you're able to do that. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out the show, and it's called Poppa's House. Poppa's House was a show by Damon Wayans and his brother Damon Jr. So, I was like, okay, well, what happened? Why is this show no longer on? And what happened is that the show, CBS ordered it to go the full 22 episodes. And then all of a sudden, probably about a little under 22 episodes. I'm trying to connect some things over here. It just went out. They said, we want to go ahead and change some things. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what happened? Why did this happen? So it's horrible that those things are happening with that. And so I wanted to read, because Damon I feel like he created this show, number one, for his family, for his son. Kim Wayans had come on and directed an episode. Of course, I think Marlon had an episode. He came on for an episode as well. And then all of a sudden it just didn't work. And I was just kind of like, what happened? Like, why did this show get taken off the air? And so I did I did some research about Poppa's House and why was it canceled. And then a lot of people were saying that the comedy series, I think, actually the series finale aired on yesterday, on the 28th of April. And they were saying that, and this is according to Deadline.com, they said that it was given a cancellation notice, and they said that they said with the CBS lineup for the 2025-26 season lineup, they only had space for one series to continue on. And so they decided to go with a new series that they're bringing out called Zama. And it's going to be, and then they decided to do something where they're going to be, there's a show that's called The Neighborhood, with entertainer and Tashina Arnold from Martin. And so that show is going to be in its final season. And so I don't quite understand, but they said a final reason CBS apparently requested the show. They said they wanted to get the budget lower for the possible second season, but they realized that they had, stars that had been around for a long, that's been around. So that's Damon Wayans. And then of course his son. And they said that unfortunately it cost too much to produce the show. Now that was some of the things that came from Deadline. And so, and that's the name of the magazine. And then also Hollywood Reporter also reported that as well. But I am really sad to see this show go, because it was based on Damon Wayans being a radio talk show host, which to me, a lot of people are not working in radio, they do podcasts like the one you're watching right now. And he's happily divorced, and he's trying to balance, living next door to his son and his married son. And then also him being told at the radio station that he needs to liven up his show. Probably about 2 or 3 episodes into the season, they brought on one of my favorite actresses from, I love this show back on, it was, I think, UPN, called Half and Half, Essence Atkins. And she's worked with Marlon Wayans when Marlon had his show on NBC called Marlon. I love that show. So they brought her on, and they had the radio show together so they could have this kind of banter. At one point they brought on, what is this? The young lady that was on the Steve Harvey show, who played Regina. I am trying to think of her name, and she was on The Game for years. They brought her on, Wendy Raquel Williams. I don't know why. Wendy Raquel Robinson. I'm sorry, Wendy Raquel Robinson. They brought her on to play Damon's, ex-wife. They had some banter. I remember watching that scene thinking I got very uncomfortable watching it. So I was just thinking to myself, I hate to see this show go. And it's really, and of course, Jules, she says she loves The Neighborhood. Yeah, that show, like, it's been around for 7 or 8 seasons, and it has Cedric and Tashina as the folks doing it. And I see Coach Tony is here. What's up, Coach?
I'm in the building. I'm with it. I agree, man. The Neighborhood is the bomb. I've watched that from season 1. I could never get into this one. I tried to. I think it was more of the his son. I just thought his son was trying just too hard. if you're naturally funny, like Damon, naturally funny. So the stuff that he says, shit, it's hilarious. Like last night, he was trying to give Tamara, it's a Teal Tamara, I don't know which one it is, but trying to give her some flowers. And she was talking about her ex-husband just popped back in her life, and and this and that, so it was funny. And he leaned on the record player, scratched the record. He's just naturally funny. But the son, skips through the house, tries to dance, does little things. And he's kind of, to me, on borderline of he's straight, if he's not straight, you don't kind of know where he's at. And then he's a nerd or not a nerd. And so that character of his, I just couldn't get into.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Damon Wayans Jr., his son, has been on some other shows that have done very well for him. And I think for some reason, I don't know if there was a fear of him working with his dad. I don't know if it was, this kind of weird balance. I think Tilona Jackson, who played his wife, she was fun to watch. And so I was really rooting for this show for things to kind of turn around. And when they ordered, because what happened is, on the networks like CBS, like ABC, like Fox, they will order the normal 22 to 24 episodes. So when they got to like episode 13, 14, they were noticing that the ratings weren't they kind of weren't.
So you got to bring it down. That's what the difference was with The Neighbors. The cool part about The Neighbors, there's two different scenarios going on one show in 30 minutes. You got a white couple that's young with a son who don't give a damn about being white. He's trying to be as black as he can be, so he's hilarious. And now he's growing up. You got the dad. I forgot the white guy. He's cool. He was just on Stephen Colbert. He's a born-out nerd who's married to a gorgeous, sexy wife who's a school teacher. She's a nerd in her own way, but then she's trying to break in. Then you got Sid and Tatiana. So both of them are just going to be just as crazy as can be. And then they got two sons that live right there. So you got the prototypical mother, father, sons living next door with a white family right there, but they all cool, but they crazy in their own way. And the show does a great job of letting each of the characters do like one episode. You may see Tatiana and Sid for the whole night on something. Then the next week it's the guys. Then the next week they focus on the kids. When Malcolm was trying to get a job as a baseball coach and he went through that, then the other son was opening up his Tesla shop. So they do a great situation of touching on each of the characters, and it's great. The only one who really haven't had an episode is the little white kid, the neighbor's son. He's Grover's hilarious because he's smart out the mouth, and he gets on Sid's nerves, but they love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Jules, she says hello to you, Coach, but she says it's the
Jules?
acting skill of some that's lacking. So she kind of agrees with you that it's kind of that back and forth where you don't quite understand or know, which is really
like the
really
neighbors.
not cool.
The Neighbors, he's not stretching. He's not stretching to live up to Sid the Entertainment because he know he can't. She's not stretching to live up to Tatiana Arnold because she can't. But what they are two nerds who play their role perfectly, and they get under the skins. It reminds me of a modern day George Jefferson, and Archie Bunker. And I could never understand that, Val. Trust me, you have to make me understand that. How in the hell did George and Archie Bunkers was neighbors when Archie lived in a house and George was in a big apartment? I could never figure that out. But they made us laugh. And then they were the craziest neighbors you could ever get, but they made us laugh.
Exactly. And like I said, I've always really enjoyed I've enjoyed watching The Neighbors. They have a whole Roku channel by themselves where they just, you could just pop on Roku and they're in the middle of their episode. So they're going to go into their 8th and final season.
Oh, I didn't know. So that's hilarious. So Grover will be a senior, so that makes sense. So because he's been on since the 4th or 5th grade, so now he's senior. So I guess they'll graduate him. Everyone will go on and be successful. because the new son is, now picked up a new baby,
Yeah. So like I said, I think that they probably should have brought on better writers for Poppa's House. I really,
Yep.
like I said, I was really looking forward to and fighting for this to work, if that makes any sense. I
Yep.
wanted the show to work, but it unfortunately it just didn't. And Damon, and what I'll say is
What
that,
did you not like about it? Well, what was the one thing that kind of irked you or got under your skin?
well, they would say lines, Coach, and then sometimes it just wouldn't hit. You would like, you would hear the laugh track, or you would hear the people laughing in the background, and I would just kind of tilt my head and go, I don't get it. And I wanted to get it, if that makes any sense. I wanted to get it so bad. I'm like, come on. So it's very disturbing when you see the effort that's being put into it. But one thing I want to do, I want to read what Damon, he responded to them being canceled. This was a couple of weeks ago. He said, creating Poppa's House was such a beautiful journey. My heart is full, and I want to say thank you to every single person who made Poppa's House such a meaningful experience. To the incredible cast, you brought so much heart, soul, and joy to every scene. And it was an absolute honor to share the screen with you and create something special together. To the writers, to the producers, to the directors, and the entire crew, you were the heartbeat of this show. Thank you for your dedication, your passion, and showing up every day with love and commitment. You made the set feel like home. And then he thanked his son. Coach, I thought about you when I saw this. A very special thank you to my son, Damon Jr. Working beside you has been the greatest joys of my life. And to my incredible family, siblings, children, and grandchildren, nieces, and nephews who showed up as writers, guest stars, creative forces, you made the journey even more meaningful. It's such a blessing to have so much love on set and to be able to create and laugh with family and friends. Through Poppa's House is coming to a close. Although Poppa's House is coming to a close, I'm walking away with deep gratitude, lifelong friendships, and unforgettable memories. The show gave me more than I ever could have imagined. And to everyone who watched, supported, and believed in us, thank you. Your love means everything. To the next chapter with nothing but love in my heart.
Yeah, I think that he was trying to get a show off. That's my personal opinion. He was trying to get a show off the ground.
Right.
To get his son where he needs to go in the right direction, because Damon's on the downside. And when I say on the downside, I mean he's trying to bring him home and just relax, but he's been out here. Mm-hmm. And his son didn't hit like he wanted him to, so he wasn't able to catch him. To me, Poppa's House, as I hear the name, should have been just that. I think it would have been a hit, being all about Damon and bringing everyone else in. Like, for example, when we watched Sanford, it was Sanford and Son. It was him and Lamont. Mm-hmm. But the show had everybody. Esther, everybody know about Esther, right? Everybody know about Rollo. Everybody know about Julio. Everybody know about Grady, right? So the people came in for whatever reason. But you notice, you never went to Esther's house. I take that back. You went to Esther's house sometime. I remember they had a party one night over there when her husband was drinking too much and it would be crazy. But I look at a show like this. If it would have been concentrated on Damon and his divorce and the situation happened, and maybe the son was an afterthought that he showed up every now and then in a sense of trying to get to know the dad because they divorced. He was upset. He's a mama's boy trying to learn his daddy, and he popped in and out of it. You just really focus on Damon being Damon, and then let his son come in every 2 or 3 weeks and show up at a show. But it was all about him, in his situation. I think it would have been a hit. But I think the show went in as Poppa's House. But to me, it was more you saw more of his son. And to me, his son just simply just didn't hit, you know, and I think that was the main thing about it, from what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think
Tyson said that's what he thought too.
Yeah. And there's a question on the floor. Kevin says, do you think Damon and Keenan should reprise In Living Color?
Yes, I think so. Let me give you that. So that's funny, Kevin, you said it because you're the third person, not the first, not third person to ask me about that. We're talking about old school stuff. What's hot right now, Val? Just think of the music industry. Just think of the music industry, huh?
Some remakes are some remakes.
Go bigger than that.
Go bigger than remakes. I'm not music.
Okay, now you're there. What about music?
Series that involve music is what's
okay.
No. All right. So you're gonna have to tell me. I'm gonna stop, but you're gonna have to tell me.
What's hot right now is the throwback to the late 80s and 90s bands. Have you been looking around the country? They are on tour again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige in Nashville next weekend. We got the greatest of all the greatest. We got Gladys Knight. We got Anita Baker. We got Patti LaBelle. We got Stephanie Mills. They coming into Nashville next week. You then look at these shows in Vegas and LA. You know, all these old bands are back together. These old bands. That right now, the music industry is so down in terms of good music and new music to listen to. It's the resurgence of the 80s and the 90s old bands, and they are selling out. I went to see Scarface in Nashville, you know, in a little bitty bar, but it was packed, Val. It was one of the dopest shows I've seen. Took me way back to when I was on the yard. You know what I mean? Ain't got to worry about no fights, no shootout, because it was old heads and they're smoking weed. So it was good. You know what I'm saying? So to answer Kevin's question, I think that if Damon and his brother Keenan come together and do a throwback to In Living Color, not only would it be a hit, it'd be berserk. And they could make Damon's son the main star in the throwback that would give the American people an opportunity to see his comedy, know who he is, and then if they pop off a show, he good. Because the reason why the Waymans was so good is because Keenan was the mastermind behind it. Kim, she knew everything that was going on, so she was funny as hell because, you know, Val is cheating on Dr. J with Mr. Roger, but you ain't heard it from me. You know what I'm saying? And everyone remember these multiple lines, and then Damon was, homie, don't play that. So when they popped off in his movies, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. Even when you look, Kevin, at someone like a Paula Abdul, she was a Los Angeles Lakers dancer, but In Living Colors gave her the runway to success. And when she came out of In Living Colors, she stopped dancing with the Lakers and popped off with an album. So those are the things that I'm talking about. And I just don't think that that Poppa's House did it, Val, because you got two things here. One, you got old heads like me and you, Kevin, a couple other guys that know the old school way and know what Damon's all about. And then you got two, the new kids who don't know a damn thing about Damon, but like his son, and he didn't hit with that audience, and they just turned it off and put something else on. Back in the day, we couldn't do that, right? Because remember, Val, was just one thing on till you watch this show. If you didn't watch that show, what you gonna watch? 60 Minutes?
You gonna watch something, but it may not be that.
So yes, Kevin, I think they should revive In Living Color. You know, matter of fact, Kev, if you look at it, in Val and we were going to do a show that night. Matter of fact, we did do the show that night. The relaunch of the Martin Lawrence show. Remember, we did that with Martin when he came back and did that. Even though the relaunch wasn't really a hit, it was really cool just to see all the old guys come back and Tommy's no longer with us. I think they need to do a 30-year anniversary from 1993 or 94, 5, whatever it was, a 30-year anniversary of In Living Color. And then from the anniversary, based on the numbers, revitalize the show.
I like that. And I think that's something it would be fun to have and have improv actors like In Living Color made so many stars, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Just go look at him.
Jim Carrey. You have Jamie Foxx. You have Tommy Davidson. There's just,
you could go on and on with that, man. If it wasn't for In Living Color, Jamie Foxx doesn't have Jamie Foxx show. If it wasn't for In Living Color, Tommy Davidson doesn't spin off, and he never had his own show, but he was funny as hell on everyone else's show. What's my man name? God dog, that played Pam's cousin on Martin. David Allen Greer. If it wasn't for that,
David Allen Greer. David Allen Greer. That was on In Living Color.
Was on In Living Color, and and then without In Living Color, Teddy Riley doesn't become the Teddy Riley at that time because he's the one who put the Philly Jam way before Boys to Men. It was Teddy Riley who jumped off that culture of music, coming on the backside of Do the Right Thing. Y'all don't know about it. Y'all better listen to Coach Tony. I'm preaching tonight.
And look in the chat. You see that Kevin says there's a spinoff happening. This will be our last comment regarding Living Color. So they're going to be B plus as all Deadline.com. So what was that?
I told Kevin, did you miss me? If you're a true Martin fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness. We are going to get into the Sinners review. We'll do that right after these messages.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
All right. I think I'm sharing the wrong thing. Let me try it again. I'm like, where is it?
Hey, y'all know, welcome to live TV, people.
So let me get into it. We're going to do the trailer first. Here we go.
I've been all over this world. I seen men die in ways I ain't even know was possible. Hey, brother, be careful. I will. With all the things that I've seen, I ain't ever seen no demons, no ghosts, no magic. Till now.
To get back inside.
Let me in, man. Some weird shit going on out here.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I'm not scary. I done told you. After watching Jason and Freddy, I don't mess with scary movies. But I do want to at least watch this with one eye open, one eye closed like this.
So I have to let people in on a little secret. You remember how much we talked about Kendrick Lamar and his Super Bowl performance and how people were very upset with his performance, saying it's got the colors of red, white, and blue. The people look like they're on a jail yard, and then there's a whole bunch, and then you got Serena Williams crip walking, like it's a whole, what is he talking about? And there's a lot of people that didn't get it.
Didn't get it.
A lot of people that got it. This film is the extended remix of what Kendrick Lamar kicked off in February. I'm sorry, in film form. And I have to say,
so you're trying to tell me that Michael B. Jordan basically turned into Kendrick Lamar on the big screen. Now you may get me to go watch that. Well, I may have to sit in the audience with a cross in my hand, but I may watch that.
Well, see, I need people to understand that people think it is a horror film. I want to do like this. There's horror elements in it. Let's get that out of the room. And here's the thing. A lot of people to me were saying, well, Val, you know, I don't do horror. I've heard this repeatedly. I don't like it. I hate it.
And the difference between that. Well, what's that? You and I were talking about that. And so I can watch. What's that movie that you and I were talking about a while back, where it was a true story about this haunted house in Indiana? I think it was in Gary, and the dude, the boy was haunted. He walked up the wall. I forgot the girl. She was on it. She was a mama. She was one of the hood mamas, but she played this character. It was ended up in a true story, and they actually ended up tearing the house down. It was in Gary, Indiana, of all places, and they made a movie out of it. True. I don't remember that, but I can get what you're saying with that. It's got scary parts to Sinners, but it's really not scary, right?
Exactly. One thing that I will do, you have to kind of remember the filmmaker. You got to remember who's making this film. And I think a lot of people, when you see a film by Jordan Peele, and that's the gentleman who did Get Out, Us, I think that was the name of it, Get Out, and then my favorite, the recent one, Nope. There's always something happening. that was a crazy
time. Nope. I don't know what the hell they were doing out in the middle of the field with blimps coming down. That was
nope.
Yeah,
not happening.
Nope, and you still got killed.
This young man that I'm showing right now, and I want to make sure that I get his name correct, because the cast for this film is phenomenal. His name is Miles Cainton. He plays Sammy Moore. He's the preacher boy, and he has a rich, beautiful voice. The soundtrack to Sinners is something very haunting. I can't get it out. But if you remember, music usually drives the storyline, and a part of the storyline for Sinners is the music. It's what mainly drives the storyline. And the blues, I didn't know this, at one point was thought of as demonic and sinner-like music, because I did not know this. This is a lot of research that's kind of gone. I did not know that.
Is this from the movie, or this is from real research?
No. This is from real research. When people think of it and they go, oh, well, we've deemed, and think about it, a lot of the music that we have created. Oh gosh, there is a beautiful scene in the film. I'll get to that in 39 seconds. But the music means anything that we have created sometimes has been demonized, and that's
I've never. That's a first for me. And I've been on this earth for many years, DJ like you. I've never in my life ever heard that blues was demonized. What I've always heard, and I've had a couple of blues singers in the family, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, Muddy Waters in that area, that always said blues was the true meaning of Black artists who were telling a personal story of heartache and pain, because the blues derivative from the Prohibition days in the late 20s, early 30s, when these brothers couldn't play in the white bars and they had to create what they call back alley bars. That's where the word back alley comes from, because they couldn't play in the mainstream. They had to play out in the country, Mississippi, Tupelo, Hattiesburg, you know what I'm saying, Birmingham, you know, Memphis, Tennessee, how they got Beale Street. I've never heard it ever been called Dominic, but I've heard it, you know, it's just, I heard it was the blues is the country version of country music. You know how country music is sad as shit? It's like blues. They like blues. And when you're pulling your heart out, you know, and it is the early version of rap, so to speak, because the person singing the blues song was either talking about a sad moment in their life or a happy situation that occurred.
Right. So let's get to the main storyline. Of Sinners. It's about twin brothers, and their names. And this is interesting that Michael B. Jordan plays both. He plays Smoke and Slick. They're the Smokestack brothers, and they were at one point in Chicago with Al Capone.
Okay.
Getting their alcohol exposition on this. And this movie is set in the 1930s Mississippi. A lot of things.
What I just say? Did I just say Mississippi?
I know what you just said.
I didn't see the damn movie. And I said Mississippi.
Mississippi. And they decide they want to come back and buy a juke joint. So the vast majority of the film is the preparation for being a part of the juke joint. Now, the woman you see right here, this is Ruth E. Carter, who won the Oscar for the costume design for Black Panther. So Ryan literally likes working with the same folks. He brings everybody back. Like, okay, you worked on my soundtrack. You worked with the costume. Come on back. Come on back. We're going to make this work. And she was in the process. And she was in the process. Through some research, I found out she was in the process of producing or doing costume research for Blade. That's supposed to come back. And that's with Mahershala Ali. That's supposed to come back. But no, it's going to be Mahershala Ali when it comes back. Mahershala Ali. So here's the thing. Because of the actors' strike, they couldn't continue, and also the writer's strike. So she had all this built up, research done. And then Ryan reaches out to her and says, I'm going to be working on this film called Sinners. It's going to be set in 1930s. She's like, oh, I got a lot of that stuff already ready to go for you. He's like, okay, we'll do this. And the one thing you can't quite tell, Ryan, I feel like it's a shorthand between him and Michael. They are just they have a shorthand of how they communicate with each other on and off screen. And it's the special effect of seeing him alongside of himself. And I can't see the line. I can't see, like, is it green screen? Like, how is it doing? Like, he hands him off a cigarette. He hands himself a cigarette. It's his twin. And the one twin is dressed in blue, and another, the one that's Slick, of the Smokestack, he is in red. And so all that costume design, that's a wink and a nod to Ruth E. Carter. So, but there's a lot that goes into telling this story, Coach. And if you stop and think, oh my gosh, I don't want to see this because it's a horror film, there's a whole lot of movie before we get to the horror.
Man, let me tell you something, So what Val, let me break this down on the hood side of everything, because we always got a group of hood cats want to go to the show. Now, what she just said, I'm going to send you to the liquor store. There's a bottle of Old Forester called 1920 Prohibition bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
If you never drink it, it's nice, Val. 1920 Prohibition is Old Forester. You get you a couple of airplane shots and some chicken wings and go to the show and watch this show, sip on the bourbon and eat the chicken wings. And I'm telling you, this show and this movie is going to be phenomenal. You'll come back telling all your neighbors and your friends to go watch this show. And that's how you sometimes, Val, if you're scared of something, you got to almost psych yourself up. Remember that? Like back in the day, I could never understand how the hell Jason never ran after nobody, but he called him. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
He was at the other end of the football field. How you get to out here on the street at the stop sign? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Or Freddie put you to sleep. And what was the thing? Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep or Freddie gonna get you. So here it is, this movie. I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we're looking at Clarksdale, Mississippi, 1922 right there.
1932. Let me bring it back up because I wanted to make sure I grabbed that to make sure that I had where it was happening. And let me also share this again very quickly. Twin brothers Smoking Stack. This is Michael B. Jordan playing both. Returned to their Mississippi hometown after years being in Chicago. Like I stated, they were there with Al Capone and they work for a Chicago outfit. They plan to open a juke joint, but their arrival and the establishment of their business is disrupted by a vampire named Remick, who is also Irish and a victim of colonism. And the story colonism and the story explores Jim Crow racism, the Great Migration, the clash between Black culture and white oppression, with vampires serving as a symbolic representation of forces that threaten the brothers' community. And see, I've never seen vampires sing and be in a way where this is the best way to be. Come join us. This is fun. That freaked me out to see that.
It was. So here's how you break this down for y'all listening.
Mm-hmm.
Clarksdale, Mississippi is on I-57, and these boys are in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
If you know your history, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee belongs to the west side of Chicago because when you come up I-57 and into the city of Chicago, that's where you are. If you are from Alabama and Tennessee, those people ended up on the south side of Chicago because you came up I-65 to Gary, Indiana, in the southern border of the city of Chicago. So to see this back in the Prohibition days, back in the Henry Ford cars, boxcar cars, I really got to see it because I'm not a fan, but I'm a big Al Capone guy, huge Al Capone. So to know that our brothers had something going on at that time, again, we was thugging, we was stealing and robbing, but to add a ghost in the situation, that's a big
vampire,
or vampire ghost, and it's considered still to be the Roaring 20s, right?
No. Prohibition. So this is the 30s.
30s, okay, got it.
Alcohol when it's still
alcohol and tobacco. Yeah, they stealing liquor, selling that, and selling cigars all over the country. So it's amazing that you have a movie and the director Ryan has done a hell of a job. And think about it. Michael B. Jordan, Val gets paid 2 times.
So I don't know if he gets paid. Now I need you. Now I was watching someone's review of the film, and they were talking about a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of winking and nods to the Chicago, and the Great Migration. Now this is a scene from the film. This is the very talented young man who portrays Sammy, young Sammy, and this is Miles Canton. So they're at the train station. So the train has just come in from Chicago, but right behind his head, and you see the little red arrow. What does it look like it say to you, Coach Tony?
Man,
it should say Pullman, Pullman.
Yeah, Pullman. That's what I thought it said. Pullman, like the West Pullman district in the West South Side of Chicago. Yes.
Right, exactly. So at one point, and when they pointed out this Easter egg, I was like, I totally missed that. Pullman porters were African Americans. They were Black men who provided service on these luxury cars. And
that's what they were called.
As soon as I think it was either last year or the year before, now we have a museum in the Pullman area, and that's in the 111th Street and Cottage Grove, where all of that is laid out about the Pullman and how people of color were porters and how they worked on this line. And I was just thinking, Ryan did a lot of research to make sure these things popped up in the film, and I was like,
together. Because I remember as a kid, besides that, the brother were Bellmans.
Exactly.
They were Bellman, and they were respected Bellmans with good pay.
Yeah, so I'm telling you. So I think that it's called the National Philip Randolph Pullman Porter.
Oh, okay. I know Philip Randolph. Yeah, Philip Randolph. Yes.
Right. So this is something this is a museum that is here in Chicago. They literally
this
just
movie was education.
Yeah.
Even though it was a little scary, but it was still education.
Right. So this just opened up, and then of course it talks about this is like on the corner of 104th and Maryland here in Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
The thing, it's all of these things that pop up in the film is to really talk about, because when Ryan did Black Panther, and I was trying to figure out how did Disney allow him to tell this story. We got the superhero story. We got that. That's on lock. We got that. But then the underlining current that was the foundation of Black Panther was the Trans-American slave trade. And what did it feel like for African Americans and Africans, and that relationship in the African Black diaspora of things, like the line that Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan's line, gives to our dearly departed Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther T'Challa. He says, "I'd rather be tossed in the ocean."
Right.
And where my ancestors were, thousands of my ancestors died, instead of go back and be with you. Because I guess he was trying to mend this fence of you guys went over to America, but we as Africans didn't try to come and get you. We didn't come and say, you come back home. And that to me was that was kind of the bigger message for me for Black Panther than anything else. So with me and you guys knowing Ryan and how he writes and how he thinks, Sinners is about that unfortunate Black trauma of racism, Black trauma of the Ku Klux Klan, Black trauma of Jim Crow laws, the migration. The migration worked in reverse. The brothers come home to Mississippi instead of staying in Chicago. And then, of course, men serving their country, trying to get their own thing. And the one scene that got me very, very emotional was when Sammy is performing on the guitar. I didn't get to the guitar and how important that was because it belonged to his dad, but he starts playing the guitar and the music, it's blues first, but then Ryan kind of comes out, and then you start to see other elements of music that we have done. And then you start to see African drummers in their, West African clothing. You see someone that's doing hip hop. Then you kind of see some folks doing like a Crip Walk thing representing California. And then it went Chinese. You saw someone from, China, because there's two Asian actors that's in it that kind of, it's like he did a complete diversification of his entire cast, and just kind of that message of it's, that music and things that we create is always being taken away. And then, and this is a spoiler, you see the music when he gets towards the end of that song, the building they're in is like burnt all the way down. And to me, that kind of represented when people of color try to have something, like buy a business or do something and get something, it's always taken away. And how ironic, 3 of the vampires who's waiting to get in, you see them, Remick, he's there with 2 other people that he's made, and they're waiting to get in. And I was just like, Ryan, right on the nose with the racism, right on the nose with the the message. It's like right there. So it's not for the faint at heart, I'll say that, but the vampires is a byproduct of everything else. And this scene I would like to show, not the scene, but just the shot from it. By the time we get to this part, and I grabbed this, and this is kind of Al Capone, the kind of gun that Michael B. Jordan's character as one of
they used the Tommy gun back in the day with Al Capone. I don't know what Michael B. Jordan used.
Yeah, so that's the kind of machine gun that they would use in Chicago. So he brought that down south with him because the juke joint shack that he was sold, it was sold to him under false pretenses. So I'll leave that alone. But
that is as hood. That is as hood as you can get. That's still happening in 2025. That ain't got to be in 2025. I know somebody that got a juke joint sold them in false pretenses. No.
Oh
but
my God!
Sounds like it's really good. It sounds like a great movie. Sounds like something that I would check out way before it hits Netflix or Prime. I'm a big Michael B. Jordan fan. I think he's done a great job. The reviews I heard of him playing the double character as a twin was awesome. And again, I think that to sell a movie, you got to sell the scariness or the whatever. No different than that Angela Bassett movie a few weeks ago. They had the lady that would sit out in front of the lawn and pull the black cape over here, the Black Widow, and haunted the house. I thought that was crazy. I'm like, I'm not seeing that either. But I think this movie here, the way you described everything and all that, I would give it, 4 stars. And you need to, again, go get you some 1920 Prohibition Old 4 Suburban and some chicken wings, and go check this movie out.
I want to make sure I go back to the picture that I was just showing. People forget Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy, that's my land partner, Buddy Guy, down in Muddy Waters. Buddy Guy was big in Chicago for those that don't know.
Right, big blues man. So he portrays Sammy much later in the film. So if you haven't seen the film, don't leave. He did Ryan Coogler.
Oh yeah, I heard that when you
Yeah.
start. I heard when the credits come, sit your butt down because there's more coming.
Don't leave, and if you leave, you'll miss Buddy Guy, 8-time Grammy Award winning musician who plays Sammy much older. And if you've seen the film, it's a spoiler. I don't want to give it away, but you see the scars on his face and he's performing, and then he gets a surprise visit from 2 people from his past. And so you want to see that toward the end of the film, and then wait, and the credits will roll again. You want to wait again, and then you'll see another scene. And so Ryan, and then I'll close with this. Ryan says, Delta Blues, the spirituality and why the latest film is called Sinners. If you point the finger at someone, calling them a sinner, you have to also point the finger back at yourself. Even the most religious person would admit that they're a sinner. Everybody is. It's a term of judgment, but it's also a term that's welcoming as well. And in the Christian context, that's who Jesus spent most of his time with.
Wow.
Sinners.
So, damn, Michael B. So I'm about to call these cats of sinners without pointing at them. They got to look at my eyes and be like this, Val. You know who I'm talking to. Hey, that's all. I'm just gonna look at them again, Val. You know exactly. They're gonna be like, me? Yeah, I ain't gonna point at you because I ain't gonna point back at myself. But you, I'm gonna look at you.
I'm gonna look at you. And I'm gonna look at you a little weird or whatever. I'm gonna check you out and make sure
you gonna know I'm looking at you, and it's about you.
So it's my strong recommendation. If you decide to see this film, as you see here toward the bottom, this is according to.
There you go. Hey, there you go, Kev. It said watch it in IMAX so that you can feel like the devil just sat on your neck. Your seat gonna vibrate and move, air blowing in your ear. That's why you need that bourbon and them chicken wings.
So Sinners is currently in theaters right now. It's in its second week. It came in number 1. It is 98% with Rotten Tomatoes. That's very high. Yes. 46 million in its first weekend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tom Cruise gave it 2 thumbs up. For those that don't know, and Tom Cruise don't rank a lot of stuff. I told Val this last night. Tom Cruise loved the movie. It's one of the biggest box office movies since the pandemic.
Right. So this is a wonderful way to kick off 2025. And this film is coming just before this weekend. There is a Marvel film that's coming out. Now, the one good thing about this, Ryan got this deal with Warner Brothers, and he will own the IP of this original idea film, I think, in a couple of years. And so I saw Spike Lee on what is his name? Anthony's podcast. He used to play for the Knicks. I don't want to mispronounce his name.
Anthony Mason? No, not Mason passed away. He's talking about Greg Anthony?
No. Carmelo.
Oh, you talking about Carmelo? You tripping, girl?
Carmelo. I don't know why I couldn't pronounce his name. Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony. He has a podcast where he had Spike Lee on.
You know who his wife is, right?
No, his former wife is Lala Anthony. I know.
Okay, I just want to make sure you know. Yeah, former wife. Yeah.
Exactly. I know that, but Spike Lee said that this film was excellent. He said, I felt like I was watching a Knicks game, or I was courtside, and I was just cheering on when he was watching this film.
Wow. You know, that's amazing. I always wondered that, Val. You know, as Spike and these guys, Steven Spielberg, these guys are movie makers. Do they physically sit down and watch other people's movies? And when they do, what's the mind frame? I've always wondered that.
Yeah. And I had a friend of mine ask me something real. She asked me, she said, Val, is this a film that Christians should watch? And will this shake our faith, or will it, help our faith?
Can I answer that?
going to let you answer. What are you going to say?
Girl, if you don't take this Christian stuff up out here, go watch this movie and support Michael B. Jordan. When you walk about that movie theater, you still gonna have your Christian faith. Ain't nobody gonna snatch it out your heart. What you gonna sit back in the movie and say, it's gonna be gone? No.
What I will say this. If you're someone that's searching, and I think that was her question, first of all, she said, if you're searching for God, if you're still looking for a church, or if you're looking for, some kind of community, will you want to have community with someone from church or whatever, or would you want to run away from it? And my thoughts on that is you want community. Because we saw in Sinners in the film, there's community among the vampires.
There's community among thieves.
And then there's community among thieves. And I think what was heartbreaking to one of the main characters is that the community he was trying to build, he wasn't able to continue to have that, because the mind was, we're going to have this juke joint open. We're going to give my people a place to celebrate, to, not worry about picking cotton, because people were still picking cotton at that point, but it wasn't slavery. It was different.
I do have a question for you on that, Val.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely, I say it won't shake your faith, but for myself,
you're going to test it.
It's going to test it. There you go.
So my question to you is, in that scene you just showed, it seems the brothers get separated. How and why? Because you got good versus evil, right?
Uh-huh.
Cain and Abel.
Well, Cain and Abel. And what usually, you have one person that's searching for community among Black people, although they're not Black, but they're searching for community with brothers and sisters. Haley Stansfield. I'm saying her. No, is it Steinsfield? I'm make sure I don't mispronounce.
Let's go Stanfield.
No, it's Steinfeld. She played Haley Steinfeld. She plays Mary. Her role is very important, and I feel for her, because you find out at the train station when she comes into Clarksdale there in Mississippi that she's just lost her mom.
Oh wow!
And she's in a little bit of a grief, but she's bonded with one of the twin brothers, and the twin brother was thinking it was just a night, but she wanted more.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever in your life been down towards Clarksdale, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Tupelo, Tougaloo, in that area?
Have ever been in those areas? I've been to Tougaloo. I've been there, okay. And I've been in New Orleans. I've been in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge
area.
So
you went from North Mississippi all the way through the damn state to New Orleans. I get it. Okay. I've been in the cut, as they say.
Okay.
And it ain't nice for us in the cut. And nowadays, especially with the lay of the land, with the 47. But I was, because of my relatives, there's a trap. And for those who listen to my voice right now, when I tell you this, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying. Val, you can travel through Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and there's a trap. So imagine you on a Dan Ryan, okay? I'm going to put it to you like this. Imagine you on a Dan Ryan going from 95th to downtown. And when you get to 35th Street at White Sox Park, the speed limit goes from 70 to 50 to 40 to 30 miles an hour within a matter of a half a mile, and then goes back to the speed. And in that area, all the police are sitting there, and you get all your tickets. Could you imagine that on the Dan Ryan?
No,
No,
I
I
can't.
will answer that for you. Hell to the no. But in Mississippi, for those of you who have driven to New Orleans to this very day, 2025, if you go down 65 to 59 and go through Hattiesburg, Mississippi, you are going to run into this trap. And I had an old coach of mine, true story, that played ball back at Fisk University, for those that don't know, HBCU, Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And this became the university where all the black people came involved at one particular point back in the 50s and 60s and had the national basketball tournament because it was the epicenter for having the NCAA tournament because they couldn't play with white men. So the blacks had to have their own tournament. And he was to tell me that they would be on road trips going down to play Tougaloo College, Talladega, Alabama, these HBCUs, that they would have to dress up like women in cars.
Wow.
And when they wanted to use the bathroom, they would pull over, put a baseball bat under the hood of the car, walk out the car in twos. Two go out, two stay in, two go, two stay in, and then till they get everybody in the car to go to the bathroom in the woods off the highway and look like a car full of women. They would have to all shave, and they would wear wigs and dresses to go to basketball games. That's how they survive. So imagine this movie in Centers in the Prohibition days, leaving the west side of Chicago, and your best friend, basically, or your commandant is out home. And you're going back to Mississippi. Yeah. I don't think he wrote that in the movie. This is my opinion. But he probably carried the devil to the city and brought him back.
Well, there's a line that happens in the beginning of the film where the father and the uncle kind of have that it was in the preview. I don't know if you caught it from the preview. If you play with the devil too long, he'll follow you home, or if you keep messing around with him, you follow him home.
Like grandma
anyway,
you're gonna get burnt.
Exactly. Kind of that thing. What I want to make sure that I mentioned this in our description before, on our way out the door. I want to make sure that I at least get to this. And thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for the reminder of this. Magazine, I was reading this. T.D. Jakes steps aside as church pastor months after his massive heart attack during his sermon, and he's named his daughter and son-in-law as his successors.
Now, they said P. Diddy did it.
Whatever. In an announcement, Jakes, I think he is 67. He is now, it's said that it's going to be his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, and son-in-law, Torrey Roberts, as his successors, and they'll begin their new roles as senior pastors in July. He started this church, the Potter's House. No. It was started in 1995. He founded the Potter's House in 1996 as a non-denominational multicultural church there in Texas, there in Dallas. And at one point, the church had 30,000 members and expanded all the way to North Dallas, Fort Worth.
Now, that was 30,000 members before Joel Osteen came, right?
I don't know when it grew, but in 1996, Tony, there was something he had a sermon called "Woman, Thou Art Loose." It was him, and it was of one other dynamic speakers. I remember buying this on VHS. Now I'm telling my age. He sold this on VHS, and I remember buying this thinking, oh my gosh, I love this message. And T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents, to cabinet folks, a lot of people. But I think, unfortunately, his association with P. Diddy and a few other folks has unfortunately damaged the brand of the Potter's House and T.D. Jakes. Now, he had a heart attack and he's had some health issues, But unfortunately, the decline in people watching the Potter's House on YouTube, unfortunately saw those numbers drop. And then a lot of horrible, I'm not going to get into any of the things that I've heard online and the associations that TD Jakes has had. It's been very bad. It's been very bad for his brand. So all I can say is I'm grateful that he's stepping away and that he's handing it off, but I don't know what, only God knows what his future is going to be like. And I feel like when people are given the responsibility of being a preacher, yes, you could be a sinner. Definitely, we have all sinned and fallen short for the glory of God. But if you haven't repented of anything that you're accused of, or if you're doing things in the dark and they might come to they go ahead and they come to the light, you don't repent of that, God has a way of he makes you pay attention to him. I don't know if that's the case for TD Jakes. All I know is that he's stepping away. He's having his daughter and son-in-law take over, and I've loved him since 1996, but it's breaking my heart to know what might be really happening behind the scenes. I have no clue. Tony, I have no clue. I'm going to
let you close out the show because I'm not going to make a comment. All I'm going
It's called Sinners, baby. It's called Sinners. We want to make sure.
All I'm saying, he's stepping away. At the time the movie come out, then what you thought?
Everyone has sinned and fallen short from the glory of God. So that is, I'm just going to go ahead and
as they said in the South, Val, what you said.
So all I'm going to say is next week, we're going to be talking. I'm so sorry. I want to make sure that I do this correctly. How do I present? Here we go. There we go. Next week, you have a special guest for the Pull Up Podcast show, and it is
Coach Alexis Griggs. I mean, I'm so excited to talk to her because we talk about all these big schools and NIL and the money and what they're doing. We finally get an opportunity to talk to a young lady, Val, that's on the low echelon of this in the NIA realm of things, in the small school realm of things, and to see exactly where she's at, exactly how it affects her recruiting kids and going basketball player, because we're always thinking the big schools. And I keep telling these people all the time, Val, when you look at these players at these major programs, like you and I just came off watching the NCAA, that's 15 to 20% of all the athletes in the United States. And this young lady here is at a school that represents basically 70% of where these kids actually go. So we get to hear an inside story from exactly what she's doing. And she's mastering in science, which is incredible.
Wonderful. So we look forward to having Alexis Griggs on the Pull Up Podcast show on next week. So we're excited to have her come through and do what she does. And we're so excited that will be here on next week. And of course, A DJ Saved My Life. It is the book. The hardback is coming. I'm so excited. I'm with it. It's all happening. But of course, if you would want either merch, go ahead and scan the QR code and go to purelighthouse.com/shop, and you'll find the book as well as all of our merch there. And of course, patreon.com/interludes. That's Find Your Voice. I say go ahead and check us out there. We'll be doing behind the scenes and, of course, additional written articles. We have a couple of new members over there. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll announce you guys as you join our community as that works. And, of course, our sponsor, Key Spot. Share, connect, and grow. If you want to grow your small business, join Key Spot And you can join them at www.keyspotapp.com/for free. You could try it out. And then Coach Tony, he's got his IG page. I'm so proud of him.
Scan that IG. Follow me. Tag me right there. Pull that up. Get on me and mess with your boy. Pull up on me on the Pull Up Podcast show. Yeah,
that's what
we love it. We love it. Absolutely.
And so I think that's our show for tonight. We're sitting up here doing our thing. So we're wrapping it up. And like I said, check out Sinners. If you don't like vampires or horror, you don't have to see it, but I enjoyed it. I need to see it again on IMAX. So that's what I got for you.
Hey, all I got is Pastor Jakes. Bless you, brother. Man, you take it easy. You go get out that chair, man. Give it to somebody else, man, and go chill out, man. Watch a couple of these movies. And holler at your boy, Coach Tony. We'll put you on the Pull Up. We'll put you on Interludes Talk on Tuesday. But we want to talk to you, Pastor Jakes. So hopefully you check this message out. We'll talk to you.
And like I like to always say to you guys, how we close up our show. Peace.